Hello my loves, it's Ariani aka Uptown Beauty, and today in this beauty tutorial I am going to show you guys my updated foundation routine. So this foundation tutorial is going to be good for a person that have dry to really dry skin. My skin is really dry, and even in the summer, imagine in the winter. So if you have really dry skin, then this tutorial might really help you. Okay, so the first thing that I like to do is I like to prime my face. Now, finding the right primer for dry skin is key. I have found that the best primers for dry skins are the oil primers. So I'm going to be using this Cailyn, I don't know why I say Caitlyn, but Cailyn Cosmetics Bulgarian Rose Oil Makeup Primer. I really love this primer. It really hydrates my my dry skin. It makes it look flawless even without makeup, and I just love that it has a lot of natural ingredients, and it just really makes my skin feels really soft instantly. So now that I have applied my foundation primer, and now before I move on, I just want to explain to you guys why it is key to use an oil primer. I know it sounds like weird, but you will get it, like, you know, as we move on you will get why. But if you have really dry skin, I have used other types of primers like poreless primers, and they just seem not to work for me. My skin tends to crack and the foundation tends to sit in. But I feel like every single time that I have used this primer, and like the next day, because I like to experiment with different things, the next day I will use a different primer. My foundation, like when I use this primer and compared to other primers that I use, it's like my foundation is not the same. It's just not the same. So that's why I really like an oil primer, and it's just like thebomb.com. And trust me, like after we're done, you are not going to be oily, because the next step is, okay my love, sorry about that, I had to take care of the baby. So the next step is, and again, this is a step that I recently learned like a few weeks ago, because I watched Jackie Ina's video and she mentioned how she uses a setting powder before applying the foundation. And I kid you not guys, this has made like my foundation from level 7 to level 10. It literally gave me those 3 points that I was missing, and it just makes my foundation stay all day, all night long. Like this is key into making your foundation stay a long time, especially during the summertime. That here in New York City, it just gets muggy, it gets really warm, it just gets sticky, and it's just like you know. So this step is key. And the setting powder that I will be using is the Kat Von D's translucent setting powder, and I really like this powder because it's very fine, and it's very like, it's translucent, you can see it. And I know it sounds like weird because my cousin, I told her the trick, you know, because I had to put my cousin on the trick, and I was like, no, you put your primer and then you put the setting powder. And she's like, oh, am I gonna look white? And I'm like, no baby girl, it's translucent, like you're not gonna look white, trust me on this one. So we're gonna just apply the setting powder onto our skin and just tap it. And as you can see, you can, well, I'm not sure how the camera is picking it up, but in person you can even see it, like it just goes into the skin like flawlessly. I'm just gonna apply this all over, and once I'm done I'll come back, I guess. Oh, and before I leave, I think it's really important that to mention that you want to really apply this powder onto your fine lines, or the part of your face that your foundation just doesn't really sit in. For example, me is right here on this part of my nose and then under my eye area. So I really go really nicely with a beauty. I feel like this is another like major key, because before I used to apply my foundation or anything that went on my face with a brush, and it's like, no baby girl, we have better tools now. We have better tools. So once I've applied the translucent setting spray, now we're going to go over with our foundation, or with your foundation. And the one that I've been loving and using is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter foundation, which is this foundation right here. The color that I use is Macchiatto 400G, and you usually need 1 pump of this foundation, but me, I am going to use a pump and a half because I really like a beat face and I like my skin to look silky, like flawless. Some people don't like that cakey look, that's fine, but I just like, I like the doll look. Like I like my skin that you can even see my pores, but it looks silky and it looks just beautiful. So this is another important step, and is to grab a beauty sponge. Now I used to do my makeup a year and a half ago with a brush, and it was fine. It wasn't all that, but the beauty sponge is just, it has up my game. Like it just, like I don't even know what to tell you. So we're gonna go with a tapping motion onto the skin. We're just gonna go, and especially on these parts that I've mentioned earlier, like those parts that you feel your foundation sits and it doesn't really go into your skin, you want to really dab into it, and not like this, even if you have to, so the foundation can go like deep onto your pores, and it just, you know, makes it look flawlessly nicely. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but you have to have, the beauty blender has to be damped. No water coming out of the foundation. It just has to be a little wet, not like water dripping out of, the sponge. And yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's major key. Every time I say something that I feel is gonna be major key, like I'm just gonna put a key on the screen. Now another thing that I love doing is just bringing my foundation down to the neck so it can match, you know, everything perfectly. I feel like I haven't found a foundation that just fits my skin tone perfectly, but you know, we're getting there. I feel like this is quite a good match. Okay, and now we're done with that part, and as I mentioned, just take your time, dab in, let the sponge, you know, do its work, and let it just put the foundation onto the skin really nicely, really silky, really flawlessly. That's what it's going to, you know, that's what it's going to do. But just take your time. Don't be like because that's what I used to do, especially after I gave birth. I used to just rush to do my makeup because I had other things to do, and I know sometimes you do have other things to do, but if you want that flawless, like no filter type of skin, as you can see right now, this is what you must do. Take your time. Now what I'm going to be doing next is using a concealer, and you know, my concealer game has also changed a lot. Like before, I used to use a concealer that was probably like 3 shades lighter than my foundation. It's okay, Papa. I used to use a concealer that was like 3 shades lighter than my foundation, and it was okay, but I feel like now I have grown up, you know, I have evolved, and I use a concealer that is probably a shade lighter, if not the same shade as my foundation. And I use this, like, you know, I'm gonna be using, okay, so the concealer, sorry, this is, I'm a little bit all over the place, but we are gonna change that from now on. The concealer that I will be using is the Jouer Cosmetics high coverage liquid concealer. It has hyaluronic acid, you know, just to give you that little extra plumpness. And the shade that I am using is Dulce de Leche. I love the fact that they're using Spanish words, you know, because I speak Spanish. Yeah, that's to brag. Joking, not joking, joking. So Anyways, I really love this concealer. It really has that soft matte effect that I always look when it comes to a concealer, and it's really high coverage. And you will see it right now that it's not really, it's a little bit lighter than my foundation, but it's not too late, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna put this under my eye area, on my chin, then under my cheekbones, because I like that really, oh shit, my light was just about to fall off. Okay, now we're gonna go back with my same beauty blender or beauty sponge. This one is from Real Techniques, by the way. This is one of my favorites, so we're gonna go back with the same sponge that I applied my foundation, and again, very with the same technique, we're just gonna dab the concealer onto our skin and just let that concealer sink in. Now what I will be doing is applying contour, or just we're gonna do contouring. And for contour, I love to use the Black Opal True Color foundation, and the shade that I use is Nutmeg. Now I really feel that this gives me like that bronzy look that I really look forward to looking like. So this is what it looks like, and again, this one is in Nutmeg, and I'm just gonna apply it right here. What do you call this part of the face? But not in the forehead necessarily, but on the sides, because I do have a small forehead, and I wanted to create that illusion of me having like just like a little bit bigger a forehead, so I don't necessarily apply it up here. And when it comes to contouring my cheekbones, I just do one line like this because I already have high enough cheekbones, so I just don't like to bring it like down here because I feel like it just makes my face look like an ant. And of course, we're gonna contour that jawline, and this is what I do. Now I'm gonna leave the nose contour for once I'm done, because I have also changed the way that I contour my nose. Before, I used to like it to look like really tiny, and sometimes in pictures it would just not look nice, especially when I was doing like pictures like right on your face. Okay, so again, with the same beauty sponge, I'm just gonna blend that contour onto my skin. And the jawline contour, I usually bring it to the bottom because we like to create that shadow right here, you know. That's what's all about. Like, don't bring it to up, bring it down, because it's about creating that shadow. The next thing that we're going to do is blend the cheekbone, the contouring for the cheekbone. Now this part, you must bring it up because you want your face to be lifted up. If you bring it down, that's gonna create the shadow right here on this part, and it's just gonna make you look like Johnny Depp. You see how Johnny Depp's like jawline is like, so like if you bring your contour down, it's gonna make you like Johnny Depp. So you just want to bring it up so you can look more like. And with the jawline contour, I also like to bring it like right here, because we want that face, we want the face to look a little bit smaller, or that's how I like it, you know. Of course, everybody has their preference when it comes to makeup, but for me, I like this part to just look smaller, you know, because if not, it will make me look like a gray alien head. Have you seen those gray aliens? Just like that, and that's what I don't want. But again, you see, I'm blending that, just pressing that stick foundation. Okay guys, so I just finished what was everything liquid, you can say, or just creamy, and now we're gonna set everything in again with powder. Now the first thing that I like to do is go back with my translucent powder from Kat Von D, and we're gonna apply this on the next areas. I'm gonna go very lightly already because I already have my face super caked up, so I just don't want to overdo it. But you see, just a little bit like this. I'm gonna try to do it like this because I noticed that when I was recording, this mirror was on the face for the previous clips, so just I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna cut that cheekbone as well. We're gonna do that on the other side. We're gonna cut it, and then I'm also gonna apply some on my forehead. Now I'm gonna work with this powder really quick because I don't really want it to sit in. As you guys saw, I already applied this powder before. I already had applied that powder before foundation. Now this is one of my favorite powders to just kind of contour and give me that bronze look. I believe this is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I don't really know because like it's just gone, literally. I got this also as a gift from Sephora, so I don't really know. So with a contouring brush, I'm just gonna take some of that powder and then I'm gonna go ahead and apply it on the side of my forehead, maybe a little bit right here, like, you know, for the hairs around the baby hair area. And then I'm gonna go and just apply it right here as well. And we're gonna really carve that cheekbone right now. I'm trying to see if I can see on the mirror behind the camera. So yeah, we're gonna just carve that cheekbone. We're gonna do that on this side as well. Just on the areas that we had already contoured, just to set that creamy contour. And voila. Now I am also going to be doing a little bit of the contour, a little bit of nose contouring with this powder, and I'm just gonna go really lightly, take off excess powder, and just, you know, shape my nose a little bit, not too much, but just a slight bit. And really quick, I'm just going to take the excess powder of my face. We don't want too much of that. I just don't like when it sits a lot on my face because I already have so much going on. And now for the final step is I am going to be using a finishing setting spray, and the one that I'll be using is by NYX Cosmetics, and this one is for a dewy finish. Now I'm not gonna OD. I will usually OD, but I'm not gonna OD. Okay, I'm OD. And the final step for my process is to use a highlighter, and I've been really loving the Milani Day Glow Strobelight highlighter. I just really like it because it gives you a lot of glow. Like, you don't need, usually like to get a lot of glow you would need like a combination of highlighters, but this one is enough just to give you that natural subtle glow, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about right now. And also, the reason why I use the setting spray first and then I use the highlighter is because I feel like once everything is kind of like just smooth and silky, the highlighter applies more effortlessly and it just looks more brightening. FYI. You see what I'm talking about or not? You see this highlight though? And like I said, and that is it, my loves. That is my, what should we call this video? Because I'm trying to see like my summer foundation routine for dry skin that lasts long. I don't know if it's long, but you know, it's everything compact in one, because this is truly what it is. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time. And like 7 Bulma will say, wholeness, balance, and high vibrations, guys.